good deal.
Well, home prices certainly did surge last year, but now those price increases seem to be slowing down. And new developments like tougher mortgage rates, growing inventory, and rising interest, or actually mortgage rules and rising interest rates, may mean that if you've been thinking about selling a home, now might be the time to do it. So before you do it, before you put up that for sale sign, here's Shari, our lifestyle lawyer, with a little bit more about what we need to think about. And the first thought that comes to mind is, if these prices are going up, they've really rebounded quite nicely. Why not just hang on to it and just watch the price and the value of your home go up?
That's right, and that makes sense, Roxanne, but here's the thing. Prices have gone up about 20% in the last few years, but that increase is slowing because that increase was mostly driven by fewer and fewer distressed homes. Remember, those were homes that were selling for less money. The less of those that sell, the more prices in general will go up. But the thing is that for 2014, we're expecting an increase of around 4.6%. For 2015, maybe 3.8%. And by 2018, prices will be appreciating at about 3% a year, which is normal. So we've seen the biggest price increases. That means if you're an investor holding a bunch of homes, or if you're thinking about downsizing, now may be the time to sell. Take some of that money out and invest it someplace else where you'll have a higher return.
Well, now we talked about some of the issues like tougher mortgage rules. Not everybody's getting a mortgage as easily as they used to,
right,
and rising rates, things like that. What are some of the other, I'll say risks for lack of a better word, that prospective sellers need to consider?
Sure. Well, we've had a seller's market because inventory has been low and demand has been high. But it's shifting to more of a buyer's market because inventory is slowly increasing. A lot of people are no longer underwater. They can now sell. New construction is up. Those institutional investors are buying fewer homes. The problem is demand is not increasing. So wages and jobs has not significantly increased, and we're not seeing that same demand from buyers. We're going to have about over 2 million new households this year. More than half of them will choose to rent instead of own. So basically the reason, Roxanne, is we're shifting from a seller's market to a buyer's market.
A lot to consider. It's not quite as easy as I mentioned, just put that for sale sign into. Remember a few years ago, well, you didn't even get the sign in the yard and people were lining up to buy your house.
Right.
Those
right.
days are really gone,
They're
aren't
in
they?
the past, and if you're thinking about buying again, you have to think about the mortgage rules. Are you going to be able to qualify for a new mortgage? So a lot more goes into this decision.
Including the decision of, do you buy or do you rent if you're going to sell your home? It used to be you sold and you bought something else, but
right.
you got to think about that too, don't
right.
you?
Well, homes are part consumable, so there's a lifestyle component to that, and part investment. So you really need to decide what you want to do. I'm a huge advocate of home ownership because it's essentially a forced savings account, and rent, it's not as predictable. You can't control when your rent will go up or down. But again, if you're thinking about selling and then planning to buy again, you want to make sure you're going to qualify for a new loan under those new rules.
All right, Shari, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much.
Sure.
We appreciate your time. Shari Olefson. Let's go back to Mike and Holland.